Where did my little my picture just disappeared then suddenly? Did you see that? A very good morning to you, boys and girls. Welcome along to the Chapel Hill Marina in Lincolnshire. From all of us here, boys and girls, and this morning's United Kingdom talk. Now, of course, I say all of us. There's actually only me here, really. You know, I live to be excited for the day, perhaps, that there is an entire team working, not for me, lovey, with me on this wonderful programme known as United Kingdom Talk. Good morning to you. Who's early today? Let's have a look. Noah. Oh, my God. Thank you for taking time out to watch the show instead of building your little ark there. Good morning, Noah. Welcome to the show, Noah. Hello to Danny Gibbs, Diane Jebs there. Dan says, Mum says hello. Good morning. Morning, Danny's mum. I hope you're keeping an eye on that boy there. I saw the email, incidentally. I saw the email from certain members of an organisation that you belong to. Isn't it unbelievable? It really is. Never mind. Ignore them and move along. That's what I say. Christina Ewing's there. Good morning, Christina. A happy Wednesday to you. Ray Reynolds. Good morning from Ray in Woodford Green. Gustav, do you know, I was just thinking about you, Gustav. Oh, not in that way. I was just thinking about you, Gustav. You keep disappearing, dear. Where do you go? At some points, you keep coming down the pub and joining us for the show, and then suddenly again, you disappear. It's all very strange and mysterious. Where do you go to? Or do you find just other things to do? Do you get fed up seeing the same old thing and doing the same old things all the time? Is that what it is, Gustav? Do let us know, dear. Morning to Shahab. Good morning. And Ben Atwood is there as well. So once we've done those first little messages, I should be able to get the others up on here now. Is that going to work now? Please work, God. Just a moment, please. There we are. I think that's working now. There we are. Brendan Brady fan. So I can close that now. I get very confused doing this thing. Reading the messages out has become a little bit of a task since things changed at the restream. All the messages don't come up in one place. Well, they should come up in one place, but they don't. Not only that, the first lot of Facebook messages just don't get to the messaging system. So I have to read those off like the Facebook thing in the same way that that you're watching this show. I have to have that up there. Well, actually, it's on here, but then once it's caught up, then I can just close it down, you see. Very complex. Morning to Brendan Brady fan over on the YouTube. Good morning to you, sir. Let's have a look. Live from the Mirable studio. We are... No, Weird City Citizen. This is not the Mirable studio. This is our Chapel Hill Marina studio. Do try and keep up with us all, dear. Look, no Mirable. Here's a clue. When we're in the Mirable studio, you can see the Mirable. Now, it's only a small clue. All right? Is that it? Is that as far as we've got? Oh, there's a spelling mistake in the email address at the start of the show. Is there? Are you sure? Do you mean which bit do you mean? The opening film. I don't know where you mean. You'll have to be a little bit more specific on that because I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Now, very, very important before we start chatting about mundane things like what I've been doing. Incidentally, a lovely day yesterday, wasn't it? The sun was out. It was a little bit chilly to start with, but that soon warmed up, and the wind was warm again. So another nice day yesterday, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. This morning, bit cloudy, bit dreary out there. I've got some bits and pieces to do. I'll tell you about later. But very, very important. I've spotted this in The Sun this morning. And it says, homeowners have been warned. Can I see my glasses anyway? Oh, there they are. You like these ones. £10 for 4 pairs at Amazon. Look at this. Look. Lovely. 4 pairs of that. When it's in green, when you start talking at the bottom of the screen. I don't know what you mean. I'll have another look at some point, okay? Oh, Gustav goes to a nice place called The Vault. I gather that's like a little cocktail bar somewhere with plenty of cocktails in there. He goes to The Vault a lot now. Is that right? Oh, I hope you have a nice time there. I may pop there at some point, okay? Good morning to Asdullah. Morning to you. Instead of kingdom, it says kingdom. I don't know how you can spot that. I never spotted it. I might have a look later, might not, don't know yet. Good morning, Adam the plumber. Are you still using the same fake tan? I have no fake tan, I'm afraid. Look, still on there. No fake tan, no fake tan. Good. Right, so we'll have a look at that. I think I can close that one now. Good morning to John Parrish, just joining us there. Morning, John. Anyway, home owners have been warned to look out for a piece of sellotape over keyholes. Have you spotted this at home? It's not good. It's not good because apparently it's a new way for burglars to mark your property as vacant. Yes. So you're thinking, how's that then? Well, here it comes. Homes in Dublin, in Ireland's fair city. Da 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 da. We love the Irish. I've got a bit of Irish in me. I have. Homes in Dublin have been the latest targets of this chilling trick, with at least 2 properties in the same street being targeted. According to one resident, this is in this morning's Sun, who spoke to the Irish Independent, it's a tactic they use. They cover the keyhole with clear sellotape to establish if the house is being accessed. 2 houses were found to have this tape on my street recently in North Strand. This is deeply concerning for residents. Locals claim the same trick has also been adopted by squatters looking for vacant homes to take over. They have now asked for additional patrols of the area, with police looking into the matter seriously. Residents have been advised to remove any tape they see immediately to prevent themselves being targets. So I've not heard of that one before. Oh, hang on, I've just clicked something wrong on there. The story goes on. Someone says it can be a way of determining whether a building is in use. So, you know, keep an eye out from those. What they're saying is that if you ever see a piece of tape, you know, you get to your house, you see a little bit of sellotape or something like that over the lock, remove it, because what they're doing is putting the tape on. And of course, if they come back, say, I don't know, 3, 4, a week later, whatever, yeah, if that tape's not been removed or broken in any way, they know there's no one there. So they go and burgle the place. Who ever thought? You've got to think of these things all the time, haven't you? How would you know that? If you got back, oh, that's a bit odd. There's a bit of sellotape over there. Would I be worried? Yeah, I probably would actually, because I'd be trying to think to myself, why would someone put a piece of sellotape over my lock like that? Well, now you know. They're doing it to find out whether your houses are being used or not. Yes, the only way to do it, boys and girls, we must install LED screens and doors to our homes. That's the only way to do it. You know, like if there's a nuclear explosion or something like that, aren't you supposed to go out and buy loads of LED and cover your house with it? I mean, it wouldn't need me actually. If I'm in the caravan, I'd be all right. The only thing is, where I am here, I'm very close, as you well know, to an RAF base. That'd be the first place that they bomb, wouldn't it, eh? Dear, I'd be gone, mate. You know, once you've seen that plane coming over with the nuclear bomb underneath it, it's game over, mate. You can't run away then. The only way to do it is to cover the caravan completely in big blocks of LED. I shall order some immediately. I wonder if they do them at B&Q. I'll pop down to B&Q a little bit later and find some of those. All right. Let's have a look here. Christina, they were tagging homes in Portsmouth South Sea section with this tape at some point, apparently. See, they've been doing it in Portsmouth. Weird City Citizen says it's very clever, but worrying. Well, it's always worrying, isn't it? I'm always worried my house is going to get burgled. I've got alarms, I've got cameras, I've got gates on the... Honestly, I'm terrible. I'm very good with the security. I like to put loads of stuff up there. So that's the little story there. So watch out for that one, boys and girls. Sellotape means someone is keeping an eye on your home. Absolutely. Watch out. So yesterday, after I finished the show yesterday, I had a bit of lunch. And then I went to see my friend Alton Andrews. Now, Alton Andrews, I haven't seen him probably for about 15 years or so. And I used to be on the radio with him. I did the overnight show on Liberty Radio, 1999 to 2000. And I cannot believe how long ago that is. It's like 18 years ago I was doing this job. and it was great actually. I had a fairly free hand there, and let's just check a little text messages as well. Good morning, Maureen. Maureen's with us this morning as well. I like to read out the stories. Don't forget, there's a texting number. If there's anyone out there who can't get to a computer or a phone and tap away like this, but you've got some telephone with you, you can always text in, okay? 07551 259 675. It doesn't mean your message comes up quicker or anything like that. In fact, if anything, it probably comes up a bit slower, because I have to remember to look at the phone. So there it is, 07551 259 675 is the number. So I was doing this programme, Overnight Show, on Liberty Radio, 1999 to 2000, and Alton Andrews was on before me. I think he had the slot before me, which finished at... Oh, was it him? No, it wasn't. No, he was on 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. Then Dave Cash, you may have heard of Dave Cash, he was on 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then I was on 2 p.m. till 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. Did I say p.m. then? Dave Cash was on 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then I was on 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., which later on became 6:30 a.m. And it was a nice little job. And of course, at night, generally at that time, I mean, you very rarely find live DJs anywhere on at night anymore. It's all recorded. But I was live, and I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the job. It was great, and I was so busy at that point, so busy, because what I'd have to do, because I was DJing till 2 o'clock in the morning at a place called the Black Cap in Camden, where I was there for a long time, many years. I was there for 18 years. And what I would do is leave my house, drive to the radio station, record the first hour of the show, okay? And then from there, I'd drive to the Black Cap and DJ for 4 hours. I would leave there at 2 o'clock and get to the radio station at 3 o'clock. Well, I'm supposed to start at 2. So at 2 o'clock, Dave Cash, who was before me, he played out the news and then put in, it's called a DAT. It's like a little cassette tape type thing. Put that in the machine, push play, and that would be the first hour of my show. People listening wouldn't know that. You know, they would just assume it's all live. And I'd get to the studios. It only used to take it was very quick actually. It only used to take about 20 minutes to get to the studios at Liberty Radio, which was opposite Harrods. Literally, it was opposite Harrods. And we were on the top floor of this building, and I could see the flags. I wasn't too far away from the flags on the top of Harrods. And of course, as the morning wore on, the sun came up, and I saw the sun coming up over the top of Harrods, over the flags and all that. Who can say that, eh? Who can say that? And it was a lovely job, and I got there about 2:20, and my show would be playing out. I get all the CDs. We weren't on computer then, and we get all the CDs out, get them in order. I'd always get the numbers wrong because I'm a bit dyslexic with numbers, unfortunately. If you give me a number and it says 7878, I might say to you that it was 8787. And you're like, no, it wasn't. And I'm like, yes, it was. And then I look down and you were right and I was wrong. You know, which is quite unusual, to be honest. For you to be right and me to be wrong is very, very unusual indeed. Aren't I awful? It would get to 3 o'clock. My little DAT tape would finish. I'd put on the news, and just straight after the news, then I was live. And I used to take phone calls. We had little competitions and things like that. And generally, the management kind of left you alone, really, because you were at night. You couldn't really do much damage. I don't think I've never really got much feedback from management, so I just assumed everything was all right. And it was a nice little job. Well, Alton Andrews was on there for a long time, actually. It's not the only radio job he's done. He's been on all sorts. He's been on the British Forces Broadcasting Network. He's done BBC radio and all that. And he's a lovely chap, and I hit it off with him straight away. You know, we became good mates, and we kept contact over all these years. I finished there in 2000. I was only on there I think I was on there about a year and a half. I definitely remember being there for one Christmas. I think it was only one Christmas that I was there. And I actually went in one Christmas morning. I did a daytime show, which was really, I was so excited about being on the daytime on the radio. because I'd only ever done overnight. That is on AM, you know, FM and or AM or whatever. Yeah, it was a great job. That was. I do miss that. And Alton stayed there. When they finished me because they replaced us with a computer. They replaced all the nighttime shows by a computer just playing out music, basically. So that was the end of our job, and I was grateful for it anyway. And then someone else took over the radio station, and it changed quite a lot. Alton stayed with it, and then they moved from Knightsbridge to, oh gosh, the word's gone right out of my head. Oh, somewhere in East London. Very famous, massive bus station. Oh gosh, what's it called now? Does it begin with S? Possibly S. Oh, I can't remember now. Oh, how mad is that? Can't remember where Liberty Radio is. No, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Anyway, so the station moved. Alton stayed with it and carried on broadcasting there. But as I say, he's been on all sorts of radio stuff. He's not on there now. When that station closed, Alton couldn't find another radio job, unfortunately. Which is the case for a lot of radio people now. In years gone by, if you wanted to do a show, you would do a show and you would do it kind of as yourself, right? This is why I've never followed up. One of the reasons I've never followed up trying to get back on the radio again. These days, they want your voice, but they want you to be part of a brand, okay? So when you listen to Heart Radio or Capital Radio, something like that, they all talk and sound the same, like clones of each other. You know, they don't want you for you. They want you to be part of their brand. And it's all very, very different, and it's very boring. I find it boring to listen. Well, I don't listen. I find it boring to listen to. It must be incredibly boring to work there. Just reading out 5 records and the station name and the time every now and again. BBC local radio have got it. I quite like them. There's one up here, BBC Radio Lincolnshire, which is quite good, which I've been listening to. And they talk to you like I'm talking to you, like a friend. Whereas on the ILRs, independent local radios, like Heart, Capital, that sort of thing, they seem to be talking at you all the time. And they all go to this radio school and they get trained to all sound the same. It's just boring. You know, well, why can't we have a little bit of difference now and again? BBC Local has still got that. But to get on BBC Local, that's difficult. You've got to be levered in there, probably by several people that you know already. So I didn't bother, you see, and I just left it. Alton also couldn't find another job, so he used to live near me. I live in Bracknell. I'm not in Bracknell today, I'm in Lincolnshire. I live in Bracknell, my house is in Bracknell, and he lived just down the road, not too far away from me, in Langley. And when the radio stuff dried up and then he found he couldn't get a job, him and his wife, he got married about 18 years ago, I think it was. Well, no, it was about 15 years ago. So 15 years I haven't seen him. 15 years. And it's funny, you know, when you meet up with friends again, it's just like you walked in and the last time you spoke was yesterday. Do you know what I mean? It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful to meet up with people like that again. It really is. And I think he got married, it was around about 15 years ago, something like that. And he couldn't get another radio job, and he decided, they decided together to move up to Lincolnshire. Because, of course, he had a modest house in Langley. But this is what I say to you. If I wanted to move, if I decided to sell I don't think I'd need to sell my house, to be honest. But if I could sell my house, this is what Alton did. He sold his house for X amount of pounds, shall we say £5. You know, just to give you sort of some idea here. He sold his house for £5 and bought one up here for £1.50. See? Do you see what I mean? And the difference as well, as I say, I've got a modest house in Bracknell. I could have something wonderful here, really wonderful. With his house where he is now, he's surrounded by fields, front and back. He's on a road where the road finishes. Do you see what I mean? A little bit further down, it just stops. You can't go left, you can't go right, you can't go straight on. It's the end of the road. So he's got no passing traffic. As I say, he's got fields in front and behind him. He's got a modest little garden there with ducks. With ducks and peacocks. He's got his own ducks. I went out and met the ducks yesterday. They seem to be ever so tall. They weren't like green ducks, and you know those ducks that look a little bit like tabby cats, that colour. I don't know what sort of colour you'd call that. But they were all white and they had really long necks. And as you come towards them, they all moved out of the way. They probably thought I was going to try and eat them or something like that. And he has duck eggs and nice little garden there. He's got a plum tree, a pear tree. It's wonderful. And what a difference to the life that he had down south. You know, he used to tell me when they start... Stratford, that's it. Stratford is the place in East London. I've remembered now, Stratford. And when he was doing the radio in Stratford, he'd have to leave his house and it would be taking 3 hours to get there from Langley to Stratford. Honestly, it is such a different life up here than it is down south. It really is. And people talk to you. And you feel reasonably safe. You know? So I went in to see him and we sat down, we chatted, he showed me, he does online radio now, so more of a hobby type thing. The same as this is to me. This is like a hobby, isn't it? You know, let's be honest with it. I sit here, chat to you, it's like a hobby to be able to chat to you and do my stuff. He does the same thing with his internet radio. He's got his own little studio in a spare room and it's all set up. I have to say it looked incredibly complex to me, much more complex than me doing this. But then perhaps if he came round here and saw my stuff here, he might think it exactly the same because you get used to how to work it, you know. After a time you do. I can come in here with my eyes closed and turn everything on and start doing a show like that, you know. I could probably do that. And I was with him about an hour, had a nice cup of tea and had a lovely chat. His lovely wife, Diana, she's such a nice, warm person. She likes computer games. She's playing on a computer games. And I left there and it was all very nice, really. On the way here, I stopped, I went via, but it's only about 50 minutes from here, his house. 50 minutes. And I stopped on the way, Boston was on the way, so I went via Boston to get the cheap petrol and I popped into Tesco's and got some little bits and pieces as well. But again, the journey from here to his house, it's 50 minutes in the car. You're just surrounded by countryside all the time. All the time, it's just fields and a few trees there, you know, and sheep over there and cows sitting down over there and horses, even llamas. We go past, we got llamas out here. What do you do with a llama? Do people eat llamas? What do they do? Or is it the wool? Is it like a sheep? They look quite woolen. I would imagine it's the sheep or something like that. I've been trying to get some woolen blankets. God, how much are they? Woolen blankets. I can't be having that fleece. When I use that fleece stuff, I get electric shocks. Is it an artificial stuff fleece or is that some sort of animal, is it? Can't bear fleece. You put it, click, click, oh, electric shock, and then you touch something metal. I mean, I'd probably blow up the blooming television if I, you know, knowing my luck. Awful stuff. So I've been trying to get woolen blankets. Oh yeah, start at 80 quid for a blanket. I wish I'd kept the blankets from my mum's house. I think we got rid of all those when I lost my mother. They were lovely blankets. Where can you get I expected to pay, I don't know, 30 quid for a blanket. No way, mate. They're like 80, 90, 100 quid for a blanket, one blanket. Dear me. So that's that. Let's do some messages. Let's see if there's any messages. There might be one or two messages. One moment, please. I'll just run back there. Good morning. Christina Ewing says, a good way to discourage burglars and criminals would be to bring back the gallows. Absolutely. Cut their heads off, dear. They won't be able to go around peeking in people's houses if they've got no heads, will they? Cut the heads off. Don't you agree? Absolutely. Cut the heads off. Andrew Charles, Dave Cash was a friend and neighbour until he passed in 2016. Yes, Andrew. And a lovely man. Such a lovely man. I was really nervous about meeting him because he was like a big star to me, you know. And I went in, he was on air and I came and I said, hello, Dave. And he said, oh, hello, you must be Chris. You're on after me, aren't you? I said, that's right. I said, just wanted to say, Dave, it's a real privilege to meet you. And he said, oh, piss off. He was a lovely, lovely chap, Dave. And I had many, many conversations with him just before I was... actually, you couldn't get away from him sometimes. He'd be chatting away to you and I'd be trying to get my show ready. And that was at the time his wife wasn't too well either, and he was quite upset about that, although you would never have heard that on the radio. But he had little chats with me about that, and what a great guy. Yeah, what a wonderful man he was. Thank you, Ray Reynolds, Stratford. That's the one. Kiki D, no, not Clapham. East London, Stratford. Clapham's in southwest London there. Weird City Citizen just googled Liberty Radio, and your name is on Wikipedia. Is it really? Have I got my name in Wikipedia? God. You know you've made it when you get into Wikipedia. Also on the station was Toby Anstis. He was very nice to me, lovely chap, always had a little bit of a chat with me because he did the breakfast show. David Hamilton, who I met, another wonderfully warm person. And let me tell you, if I was nervous about meeting Dave Cash, I was even more nervous about meeting David Hamilton because he was just he's an enormous star. You know, he's been on BBC Radio 2, loads of radio stations. He's in his early 80s now and he's still working. You see, these people, they don't need to work anymore. They have to be doing it. It's like a drug. It's like, but instead of putting needles in our arms, we turn cameras and microphones on and talk to people. I go into withdrawal symptoms if I can't do a show, you know. I do. It'd be the same for these people. David Hamilton is still working. He was, of course, continuity announcer on Thames Television. I don't know if he did any other stations as well. And I was sitting there one night doing my show and I knew David was on. He was filling in for Toby Anstis, you see. David Hamilton was on. And I was sitting there, I kept looking out the window. It was right in front of me where people would come in and walk across you, you see. That's how they came in. And then I spotted David Hamilton. I think I went into Mel. Oh my God, it's David Hamilton. And he opened the door. Hello, you must be Chris. I said, I'm David. Hello, David. Pleased to meet you. He said, do you want a cup of tea or something while I'm in the kitchen? Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. And he made me a cup of tea. How lovely is that? David Hamilton made me a cup of tea. I couldn't believe it. And then I sipped the tea. He hadn't washed. I didn't tell him. I don't think he'd washed the cup out properly. And it tasted all like fairy liquid. But that's not the point. He made the cup of tea, and I was very grateful for that. And I had a couple of chats in the studio with him. He knew I did DJing and all that, and that was wonderful meeting David Hamilton. Such nice people. So he was on there. Dave Cash, Toby Anstis. What other big people? What's that noise? I can hear a noise. It's probably some sort of tractor outside or something like that. No one else. I don't think there was anyone else that was a big star on there. I can't remember. They had some woman on there, Claire Ashford. She was just horrible. She just hated everyone in there. She was horrible. In fact, she followed Toby Anstis. They hated each other so much that Toby would have to finish his show, put the news on and leave the studio before she would go in there. And he would be right out the way, and then she would go on there while the news was on and take over so that they never had to talk to each other. And she was awful, that woman. She was just vile. I remember filling in for her one morning. She was really late. She got up late or whatever. It doesn't matter what. And I was due to finish at 6:30. She was on at 6:30. At 10 to 7, I'm still sitting there. You know, like, half 6. I said, Claire's not here yet. Can you carry on? Yes, of course. Now, meantime, my car is parked downstairs, right outside the studio, because you can park there at that time. But 7 o'clock, you've got to move it. It got to about 5 to 7, and she comes waltzing in. You know, not a word of thank you, nothing. Okay, I'll take over now, and that was it. That's all she said. Okay, I'll take over now. Not a word. How rude. How rude are you? You know, I'm sure if Shirley Bassey was late for a show and they asked me to sing a few songs before she was due on, she'd say thank you. Awful. Back to some of your messages. Let's have a look here. One moment, please. It was owned by Al Fayed, owner of Harrods, it says. That is correct, yes. That is correct. Although we never met Al Fayed. I was quite excited to meet him, actually. I think he's a bit of a character, Al Fayed, but it never happened. He did own the station, that's right. Andrew Charles, you should try my station. We're not like that. I will try your station, Andrew. I will. I could listen on the on the mobile phone type thing, couldn't I? Morning to Tony Power. Good morning, Tony. Ray Reynolds, was lovely to meet Dave Cash and Tom Edwards at Harwich a couple of times for the 60s Radio Pirate events, which Ray Reynolds likes to attend. Good morning to Anna Sparkle. All is well, Anna. All is well here. Llama, wool and steaks. Oh, you can have steak llamas, can you? Is that on the menu at the Toby Carvery, along with the worms that I mentioned yesterday, or was it caterpillars? Someone found a caterpillar in their dinner at Toby Carvery. I read that story for you yesterday. It was in one of the papers. Anna's in Paphos, Cyprus. I hope you are enjoying your holiday there. Paphos, la Cypre, 12 points. Have they ever won the Eurovision Song Contest? Cyprus, I think not, darling. Maybe next year. Tony Power. I was distraught to discover yesterday that Sainsbury's are trying to sell mince pies in September. Well, I mean, the mince pies is the next thing. We've already had the Christmas wrapping paper and a tinsel. That's out in loads of places. Well, I tell you what appeared in July, the big tubs of sweets. In July. The great, I say big, nowhere near as big as they used to be. Every year they take out another handful. You know what's going to happen one year, don't you, Tony? One year you're going to buy that big tub of sweets, open it, there'll just be one sweet in there. And the next year, half a sweet. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. The weather this morning, it's quite cloudy out. It's overcast at the moment. It's not too cold, but it's a bit overcast. I shall soon warm up anyway. If I'm a little bit cold, I shall be going swimming after a while. There's a swimming pool up in Horncastle I've discovered, which is nice. It's a bit longer than the one I'm used to, so I'll probably do a bit less lengths. Morning to Roy Brownlow. Your light is on and illuminated in front of me. Good morning, sir. Zoe Ball was on Liberty Radio as well. Yes. And she, of course, is just about to take over the BBC Radio 2 breakfast show, which I'm very, very disappointed about, to be honest. I really thought I was going to get that gig, but it didn't happen. How sad. Very, very sad and lonely that is. Never mind. That's it. Last night, so I got back here, had a little bit of a sleep, got up. I watched Holby City last night and also Killing Eve. Anyone watching that? I don't think that's available on television. It's only on the iPlayer. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I might be wrong there. I don't think it's actually been on the telly. It's available on the iPlayer. So I've been watching Killing Eve. It's about this young blonde, it's very good actually, this young blonde girl, and she just keeps killing people. I think they are contracts, but she's very blasé about it all, you know. So watch that one, Killing Eve on the BBC iPlayer. After that, I went round to my nephew's house, Gary Butler. Went round to his house. The children were asleep, so I just sat there with him and his wife and Olivia's carer. And we watched a bit of telly. We watched this programme, First Dates. Have you seen that? First Dates. I've never seen it before. Actually, as reality shows go, it's not too bad at all. And there was a young couple on there who clearly should be together. You just knew that. Just the way they were interacting with each other and looking at each other. And they seemed to understand each other. And it was very sweet to watch it. So there was a young couple on there, which I liked. And there was also a middle-aged couple on there, about 50. They seemed to get on all right as well, although she got really drunk. And then there was a gay couple on there. And honestly, you've never seen so much face fur in all your life. One of them had really scary eyes, a little bit like this they were all the time. And this moustache that was like that. And oh, it was awful. I did not like his look at all. And I said to my nephew, if he turned up on a blind date with me, I'd go. I'll just go into the toilet and not come back again. Mind you, that's happened to me. It used to happen to me loads of times. I'd be out on a date somewhere. You know, someone said, I'm just going to the toilet. And you're still waiting there an hour later. Have they got lost? You know. I mean, this is as far as I'd want mine to go. But his beard was, both of them actually, the beards were down here. And one of them had this moustache, which was curled up like that. Oh, it was awful. And then the other one, so that one, his beard was like a gingery type colour. And the other one, it was all black. but neither of them, I didn't fancy either of them at all. And then at the end of the show, they kind of bring them both back together and they say, do you want to see each other? And the young couple said yes. The middle-aged couple said yes. But the two gays, one said yes and the other one said, well, he said, I've had a wonderful time. And you knew what was coming. You know, wonderful, wonderful time, he said. He said, but, and we have definitely got a connection, but as friends. And that was that. Oh, well, you know, because you've got to look at someone, haven't you? You've got to, although I felt, watching them, good morning, Russ. Morning, Russ. I felt that it could have been worked on. If they'd have stayed together for a while, they might have eventually fancied each other, or at least the other one would fancy him. Because you've got to fancy someone, haven't you, to be with them, haven't you? Or can you be with someone without actually fancying them? I mean, I suppose that happens with longevity, does it? Or do you continue to... I see I've not been in a relationship longer than 2 years. That's true. I mean, after I don't know, after 10 years... I've certainly not been in a relationship for 10 years or 5 years. Ever. After, like, I don't know, after 10 years, are you just with them and it's, you know, the bit where you go, poor, you know, does that stop? Someone tell me. Morning to Adrian Richardson. Good morning to you, Sue. As indeed Chris Manzar. Manzar is there. Hello to you. Roy said, should it be Killing by Eve? Well, perhaps it should be. Is it called Killing Eve or Killing... No, it's Killing Eve. No, Eve is the one she's trying to kill. Eve is someone that she's trying to kill. That's why it's called that. It's 28 degrees in Cyprus at the moment. Well, I hope you're having a nice time on there. Yes. 18 years of marriage this year from Chris. Wow. So do you look at your wife now and, oh, perhaps that's something not to be asking you. I don't know. Do you kind of look at her and you still think, poor, look at her? Or do you think, yeah, that's my wife and I love her very much? Or both? You know, I don't know how it works, really. Of course you love her. Otherwise you wouldn't be with her, would you? Tony Power is in the studio in 3 weeks to record a new vocal for our 2010 single, Holding Back. I will tell them you said hi. Who are you going to tell I said hi to? Do tell. You need a little bit more information there, Tony. You've only given me half the story, old boy. Can we have the whole story, please? Yes. So that was first dates last night. And then out came the ice cream. Oh, I've been trying to be so careful. And then Gary goes out and gets me some ice cream. Not just a bit, half the blooming tub. It was very nice. Strawberry, I think it was strawberry ripple or something like that. So that's very nice. Oh, Chris stills look at her with lots of love. Oh, that's nice, Chris. Give her a little kiss from me as well. All right? The 3 degrees, thank you very much. Oh, the 3 degrees. How wonderful. I can only dream of meeting the people that you work with, Tony. The 3 degrees. When will I see you again? My favourite 3 degrees song is My Simple Heart, because it's got those tubular bells in it. My simple heart, ding, ding, ding. My simple heart, yeah, 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 yeah. My simple heart will always love you. Dun, dun, dun. Got a simple. I love it. There's a few extended versions and remixes of that on YouTube you might want to find. Just type in My Simple Heart remix. There's some wonderful versions of that on there where professional people and, of course, kids in bedrooms, they like to remix songs, don't they, and mash them up together. There's some great talent out there from young people. There really is. But going back to the radio thing we were talking about at the beginning, you know, there's some great young people who are very, very talented and have got proper personalities and characters that I'd love to hear on the radio, but they can't get anywhere because they won't fit into a brand. It's shocking, really. It's a good job we've got the internet radio and all this business to be able to do stuff that we love now. You know? It's just the way it is. My favourite song is Woman in Love. That's the 3 degrees. I love the opening. Da-da-da, boom, 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 boom. Just give me love when you can. Take it easy. A woman in love will understand. I did go and see him once, Tony, at the BBC Radio London Soul Night Out a couple of years ago, and they looked fantastic. The vocals weren't quite there, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, don't tell him I said that. Do not tell him I said that. Do not tell them I said that. But they looked fantastic in their outfits and the dancing and all that. Really, really good. Yeah. Roy says, I love being single. I've got lucky lips. The 3 degrees. Just give me love when you can. And the drum bit at the beginning, the very beginning. Da, 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 and the guitar. Oh, I love it. I love it, Tony. Gary Butler's there, my nephew. Any ice cream? No, you shoved. He gave me half a tub yesterday. Half a tub of ice cream. I might have some tonight. We're going to Skegness tonight with my sister and her husband. And I think Bernie's coming with us as well. Bernie is like a member of Martin's side of the family. So looking forward to it. A little night out in Skegness tonight. What do we do in Skegness? Well, we leave here around about 5:30. I don't know who's driving tonight. It'll be either me or Martin, I expect. And then we get into the free car park. It's free after 6 o'clock. Go in the car park. We're going to have something to dinner, which will be, for me, chips and baked beans. But proper, you know. We're not like 3 baked beans in a little china cup and 4 chips and a little basket. No, dear. You'll get like a polystyrene thing like that. The chips will be like that, and the beans will be poured over the top. That is chips and baked beans, thank you very much. I'm sick to death of going to these places and having these tiny little portions. No. So we'll have that. Probably then we'll go for a walk along the seafront. Because we come out there, go right the way around and come back on ourselves, and then we go and play bingo. We play prize bingo, not like in a big bingo, you know, like the bingo that they have at seafronts, where you've got the little, you've got the light up bingo cards in front of it, and you pull little doors going across like that. Pull little doors going across the numbers. We love it. We absolutely love it. I just realised I've got no messages from anyone on Periscope this morning. Which could be that those messages are just not coming up on there. Usually I've got 1 or 2 messages from people on Periscope. Let me try something. And then if you're on Periscope and you want to try and send a message in, then that might work. Let's see if that fires up there. I don't know what's going on with these damn messages at the moment. It's all not really working too well at all. Never mind. These things are sent to test us. Tony says the 3 degrees are amazing, being the longest formed female group in music history. Oh, they totally are amazing. I love them. Ray Reynolds, my mum used to serve Ross's ice cream from the shop window in Chingford. If the kids were rude, they got smaller cornets. I like Mr. Whippy. Mr. Whippy is my favourite ice cream. Okay, right. I've done something to my chat thing. So if you're on Periscope now, try that. Aha! Oh, look at this. Chris Munzer is now on Periscope now. Gary Butler's now on Periscope. There we go. Oh, so they're coming up in a different place. Oh, it's just getting silly. I'll have to email them and tell them that the Periscope messages don't come up. Morning, Gary. Yeah, I've got that on Periscope, so that works now. But that's like on a different message. It's not coming up with the main lot of messages. Oh, it's very, very confusing. Right, I've got a couple of lovely stories for you here. Good news for motorists here in the UK. You may have seen some stories recently that they were considering starting to put more tax on the petrol. Not that we don't pay enough of it already. I think something like the price of petrol, I think it's something like 80% of the price of petrol is actually taxed. Did you know that? So for every £1 you put in your tank, 80 pence of that goes to the government. That I'm sure it's something, it is very high like that. It's very high like that. Chris likes Facebook, but yeah, stay on Facebook. I was just trying it out just to see if that works, but that's certainly working now on Periscope. I'm getting those messages through, but they're in a different place. It's just silly, really. I'll email the people and let them know. Well, good news, it's in the Sun this morning. Theresa May will freeze fuel duty again in a bid to persuade Britain to stick with her as Prime Minister. She will reveal Chancellor Philip Hammond is to scrap a scheduled 2p a litre rise And people say it's only 2p here, but it's 2p here, another 3 pence there, penny there, and it all adds up, dear. We are seriously paying about 80 pence. I don't know exactly how much. How much tax on petrol? Let's see what it is, shall we? I bet it's here we are. Fuel duty rates. What is the tax on petrol? Here we go. From 23rd of March, the UK duty rate on the road fuels, it's 57.9, there we are, 57.95 pence per litre is tax. Okay, so it's not 80 pence, it's less than that. But nevertheless, you know, so for every time you spend £1, what is it now? Well, £1.30 on a litre of petrol, 57, nearly 58 pence of that is tax. Did you know that? Huge amount. And they would have put more on. Well, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. The freeze for the 9th, so for 9 years now, they haven't put any more tax on petrols. Interestingly enough. The freeze for the 9th year in a row is a huge victory. And then, of course, the Sun are claiming that it's all down to them. It says, we, as in the Sun, have persuaded the Chancellors to halt the annual raid on motorists, allowing them to keep almost £1,000 now in total per year since 2010. So that's very good news. It says scrapping the inflation-linked fuel duty rise next April save motorists £1.20 every time they fill up in a 60-litre average tank. It will cost the Treasury £800 million. So that's really good news, isn't it? And the amount we pay in petrol in this country is just astounding. It really is. You go to some of these Arabian countries. I think is that how you would term them? Arabian countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, places like that. You can fill up your car and have change out of £1. I kid you not. That's how cheap it is there. You can fill up your car for pennies, literally pennies. Chris says in his state in the USA, it's 44 cents tax. I think you're per gallon over there, aren't you? We've got litre. I mean, I'm still in gallons in my head. I'm not quite sure what a litre is. I think there's about roughly about 4 litres to a gallon, something like that. Which isn't that good, is it? Good morning to Alex Stewart. How do you feel about Scotland wanting to leave us again? Well, I wish they wouldn't, really. I don't want to see any of the UK broken up. It's very sad. If that was to ever happen, I'd feel really sad about that. I would. Some people argue, is it any different from us wanting to leave the EU? And I want to leave the EU. I don't want to be controlled by some large organisation of foreigners. Basically, that's why I voted to leave. Nothing to do with not liking people who are from Romania or wherever. Nothing to do with that at all. I just didn't want to be controlled from another country. You know, telling us what to do, this, that and the other. That's why I wanted to leave. Is Scotland leaving the rest of the UK any different to that? I don't know. I mean, we've been together for so long, haven't we? I think it would be a great shame. Of course, I'm not really speaking economically speaking or politically speaking. I think it's just nice that we're all together. That's what I think about that. All right. Thank you, Alex. I'm glad I'm getting those Periscope messages again. Where are we? I think Miss May, Tony, will have to make a speech of her life today to try to unify her party. I'm not a Tory fan, but I feel sorry for her trying to have to sort out this mess. Well, Tony, you know, whoever got the job of having to do breakfast was going to be like this. Whether they were Conservative or Labour or Liberal, you can't please everyone. And whatever she does, she's going to have a large amount of people that don't like what she does. That's just how this particular job is. I mean, I wouldn't want that job for the world. She must be under so much stress. And that Boris Johnson, he's getting nasty. I'm sorry, he's getting really nasty. Now, I used to be a little bit of a fan of his, I've got to be honest. But he's just got so horrible. What is his problem, honestly? He's really nasty. And I don't like nasty people. And I don't think people generally like nasty people. I don't think they do. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there in a few months' time as well. I think we'll be surprised. I think she'll. What do I think we'll do? I think she'll do the Brexit. She will absolutely see that through. She is totally committed. She will see that through, and I don't know if she'll go after that or not. I think the worst thing they could do now is have another general election, because that just throws it all up again, and it needs to be sorted now. It's such a mess. And who else do you think could do it? I don't think anyone else could do it, to be honest. I don't. Tony, there you are. Tony says Boris is a power crazy twat. Well, he is. He is. He wasn't like that a couple of years ago. He was quite a likeable character. I don't like him now. I think he's horrible. Horrible going up against people like that. So there we are. Right, another story. $3 a gallon in the USA. They're paying there, Chris. Okay, so if you're paying $3 a gallon, we're probably paying about $6 a gallon here. I would say we pay double there. I'm in Vegas in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to that. I've just got my travel insurance a couple of days ago, so very much looking forward to that. We'll do one more story and then I'll do today's birthdays, boys and girls. Now, what about this? Ever worry what's in your oven? In this morning's Sun again, an 82-year-old woman got the shock of her life when she went to put her chips in the oven and was greeted by a 3-foot-long snake. Oh, just turn it on, dear. The African brown house snake had slithered into the elderly's couple home on Macclesfield Road in Stockport. Oh, it's horrible, look. Can you see that? Hang on a minute. Let me see if you can... Oh, there we are. Yeah, you can see that. Look, look! Evil! Evil snake. It looks like a poo, doesn't it? It looks like a poo wrapped around her arms. Oh, she was in Stockport. They called the RSPCA and an inspector has been sent to the home. Initially, he couldn't find the snake. But it eventually turned... How can it get out of the oven then? Silly cow must have left the door open. Turn it on, love. Get rid of it like that. They called the RSPCA and an inspector was sent to their home. Initially, he couldn't find the reptile, but it eventually turned up again 2 days later on September the 28th. Fortunately, the couple were animal lovers and were concerned for the welfare of their non-venomous snake, although they admitted the bizarre discovery put them off their chip tea. The woman, who did not want to be named, said, "When I opened the oven door and saw it for the first time, I got the shock of my life. I've recently had a cataract operation. I was wondering if my eyes were deceiving me, but my husband saw it too. Maybe he needs his cataracts done as well then, dear." You don't know. We're big animal lovers and I just wanted to make sure the snake was safe. So we were pleased that it was rescued by the RSPCA. I gave the inspector a big hug. What, in front of your husband? That's asking for trouble, love. I'd rather deal with the snake. And afterwards I went off the idea of oven chips, so I sent my husband to the fish and chip shop instead. Tony says she was probably suffering from Asperger's. Tony reckons Theresa May will stay on as well. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. We'll absolutely see what happens with that whole Theresa May thing. Okay, boys and girls, let's do today's birthdays on this, what is it? Is it Wednesday today or Tuesday? Wednesday, because I'm going swimming afterwards. I'll have my pills and a cup of tea. And then I'm off to the swimming pool. They do over 50s swimming between 11 and 12. Shut up, yeah, I know. Over 50s swimming I should be attending. That stops at 12 o'clock, so I'm looking forward to going swimming. And I'm very much looking forward to going to Skegness tonight and walking around there for a little while. It can be a little bit cold on the coast. And they've got loads of windmills, you know, loads of the electric making windmills, wind turbines out in the sea. And they go right far back. It must be very difficult to set one of those up, don't you think, in the sea? Because it don't go out, does it? They've got to literally set up a wind turbine in the sea. How do they do that? Must be very strong. Alrighty, Birthday time, Carla Nash, you lovely, lovely lady. Hello, Carla. Happy birthday to Carla. Love you very much, darling. All right, happy birthday, Carla. Jennifer Brayhort is 70 years old. Good morning, Jennifer. Happy birthday to you. James Buckley, happy birthday to James. Bhav Patel, who I used to see when I was doing the karaoke at the Golden Lion in Camden Town a couple of years ago. He always used to come and sing. He's a nice chap. Happy birthday, Bhav. Hope you're well, sir. Nguyen Hino is 23 years old. Richard Lee Hickman, that's an old fit picture you got on there, Richie boy. Used to come in a place in Clapham that I used to work at. 38 years old today. Happy birthday, Richard. And Sinitta St. Moritz, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right. Enjoy your birthdays then, boys and girls. That's it for the show today. Thank you very, very much for joining me. And thank you also for all the messages and all that. I'll try and remember to fire up the separate, those of you on Periscope, fire up the other message thing on there so we've got them both going tomorrow. It's I'll email them as well just before I make the cup of tea and see if they can sort that out. Have a nice day, boys and girls, on this Wednesday, the 3rd of October 2018, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.